All right, I have taken out the reflector. I have it here on the table, and we need to do some cutting in order to have an opening to pass the LED through. So as you see, there are two bump on each side that we can use to do our measurement. Just pay attention that this amount of space that you see is not actually the empty space inside. So we have to do some measuring in order to find the opening space inside the reflector that we could use to install the LED. So what I did the measurement from the left side about 1 inch and quarter. I'm sorry, 2 inch and 1/4 from each side, and then I draw a line, as you see. So that line tells me where I can start the cutting. Okay, so that's the left side of my rectangle, but I also need to find the bottom line of the rectangle. So for that I do another measurement from the top edge, which is about 1 inch and a quarter. So we mark it there. So now we have the lower left corner of the rectangle. Okay, so that's the start point where we do our cutting. So the rectangle that I cut out is about 1/2 inch wide and about 1.5 inch long, right? So the way I did the cutting is that I started to drill the four corners of my rectangle. But please be careful when you use your drill. Don't go down rapidly because you don't want to hit the glass on the other side. Go, work your drill bit very slowly down, make the four holes, and then use a Dremel with the cutting disc and cut out the rectangle. So we also need another cutting for the other end. Why is that? Because we want to be able to grab the LED on both sides to make it fit into the reflector and make some adjustment from both ends. So I use these tweezers to hold the LEDs from both ends and move it to the place, or put it into the place and secure it there. Another thing that you need to make sure, because of the cuttings, there are some debris and the scrapes that goes inside the reflector, so we have to clean it. So the way I clean them, I used a piece of solid electric wire, wrap napkins on one end and taped it, and then insert the wire from one end and move it back and forth to clean the glass. And then I flipped over the reflector to let all the particles and debris come out. So once you make sure that if it's completely clean, we have it ready to insert the LED. So the way you insert it, you grab the LED and then move it, you insert it from one end slowly, and you could actually flip it down, facing downward, so it could go in easily like so. There you go. So I have the LED inside. It's completely inserted. So now I'm using my tweezer to grab the other end and flip it up and force it against the wall inside. and make it straight and leveled. So I'm doing the adjustment here. And it's also recommended to press the LED all the way down, uh, just far enough for it to hit the bottom of the reflector. So as you see, the LED is completely straight and completely secure in place. Nice and neat. Okay. Another thing that I will suggest is that to grab, double-sided tape, and using the tape, you could actually put it on the LED on each end and have it pressed against the wall to in order to prevent the LED from moving around. That helps. It's I recommend you do that. So after we did that, then we are ready to run the wires. But before I did that, I just made another 2 holes with the drill that I had, the rebuild that I had, just to pass the wires through that hole, as you see. So once we have the wire in place, we could just start running it, as you see, and then we could use some blue tape to hold the wires in place, because we don't want the wires being in the way when you put the reflector back on. You don't want the wires to hit anything or be in the way. So we kind of want to secure them in place. And for the other end, we could just run the wires under the dust cover, and from other end, there is a hole. You can just pass it through that hole and pull on it to have it completely secured. There you go. And then you can put the dust cover back on. This is the finished car. I just need to put some blue tape, and that's it. We are done with the reflector. So okay, we're now down to running wire for the turn signals. In order to do that, we need to pull on this plastic to remove this cover from here. So once we remove it, there is a screw here. We unscrew it, make this cover a little bit loose so we can access this hole. I used a piece of solid wire, electrical solid wire, to run the wire from this. I ran it through here, through that rubber cover here, whatever it's called, and then I pulled this to a pair of cable, the yellow for the left turn and the blue for the right turn. I pull it from here, attached to the end of this electrical wire, and then pull it from the end of that rubber. So I have them here. See, now see the 2 wires has passed through that rubber grommet or whatever they call it. So now I have to pass it through that hole to here. Again, I use this electric solid wire. I pass it through there, and then now I have this end. Now I'm going to tie it up my cables to this end, and then pull it from here. So the next step is that I ran my cable down through here, and I've got the other end coming out from here, as you see, and then I'm tying up the cable so I can pull it through that gap or hollow channel behind the cable, so nobody can see it. So let's pull it. All right, okay. So now I have my two cables ran through this hole, came out of here like I explained, using that electric solid wire that I have. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this yellow cable from this gap I have. I don't need to remove the whole covering and anything, just run it through this gap I have all the way to here, and then from here we're going to attach it to the left turn signal, and then the blue is the same. I'm going to run it through this gap I have here all the way around through that corner down to here, and then attach it to the right turn signal positive. Alright, in order to access the turn light, we need to remove the screw from here and remove this cover, and then there is a screw right there and we have to remove it. I use the number 10 to get it out, and once that screw is removed, I should be able to just pull it out. Okay, I have the light completely out. The wire that has to be connected to the turn signal for the turn signal is the one here. It's on the top left, which is this wire here, the white one right here. So that's the one, should be white with the orange stripe on it. So I'm going to connect that blue wire that we run the other day to that wire here for the right turn signal, and then we're going to repeat the same steps for the other side. If the wiring is different, I'm going to show it in the video for you. Alright, I'll be back with another video for the left side. Okay, so the left turn signal has a different wire. It's I would say green or blue. Let's see. Zoom in. It's a blue with orange stripe, and it's located right here on the lower left from this from back. Okay, so I'm going to connect the left turn signal, the yellow wire here that we ran the other day, to that using these T connectors. They're very convenient. I'm going to use these T connectors. So and that's it. Next, we need to run another wire for the 12 volt DC. What I did, ran the wire through here, and I got the other end from here. I'm going to pass it through that rubber grommet from here, and the wire is going to come out here, and it's going to go around this corner next to the blue wire that we already ran, and from here we're going to go down this fuse box and connect it to a 12 volt here. Alright, as you see, the red wire has gone through this rubber grommet here it goes down, and it's coming out of this area, which we're going to connect it to the fuse box later to a 12 volt. And the other end, I'm going to pass it through behind this wall here, and then we're going to take it all the way here. It's going to come out here along with the other wires that is going to be connecting to the circuit. Alright, so in this fuse box, all the red wires are hot. Even though the car is off, all those red wires have 12 volts. We don't want to connect to any of that because the circuit is going to be on at all times, and that's not something we want. The only wire that I found that gets the 12 volt when the car starts is the green wire right here. So we're going to connect our AC wire that we already ran to that green wire here using this T connector. Attaching the brake positive, we're going to use this brown cable, and for the negative there is a black cable next to it, so I use it for the negative, for the ground, to connect to the circuit. And this brown goes to the brake, and the yellow and the blue are my turn signal wire that I already showed you how to run them. Okay, so the last step is connecting the circuit. Red wire, it's a 12 volt, that's the supply. Goes to red wire, yellow to yellow, that's the left turn signal, blue to blue, that's the right turn signal, brown is the brake signal, and black is ground. And this is the LEDs. The socket goes to the LED that we already showed in the previous video how to connect. So once we have the circuit connected, you can just tuck it in here, and then put all the wires back like so, and we want to put all the covers back and do the final test.